And I want to turn now to Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer for more on the situation in Ukraine. Kelly, thanks for joining us. World leaders are meeting at this annual security conference in Munich. What has come out of Germany so far? What have we learned?
Thanks, everybody, for having me. Well, this conference couldn't come at a more crucial time, really. And it's a conference that's set up to discuss just what they're looking at right now, the threats and the dangers. And now they have what's happening on the backdrop of what's happening on Europe's doorstep, all of this happening in this three-day conference. So Russian President Vladimir Putin himself has been there in the past. He was clearly absent this year. He was spending Saturday overseeing military exercises with Belarus. But for those who were there, it was a way to reaffirm transatlantic ties, to show this unified front against Putin. And they also discussed the implications of what is happening in Ukraine for overall European security. And not just that, but worldwide security. The U.S. sent over Vice President Kamala Harris and Secretary of State Antony Blinken. And Ukraine demanded a clear time frame when they can join NATO. And that's really the crux of what we're looking at here, the fight for Vladimir Putin. He does not want Ukraine in NATO. That's been one of his demands throughout this, and a demand that U.S. and allies have said is off the table. Rube?
Yeah, and Kelly, the U.S. has learned that there is intelligence that Russian commanders have received orders to proceed with an invasion of Ukraine. Do we know any more about what the next steps are here?
That's what everybody is watching here in Washington tonight. We know that President Joe Biden met with his National Security Council today. He actually was set to go to Delaware tonight and canceled that trip to stay here in Washington. I don't know. We don't know whether that's a sign of anything to come or can't speculate, but he is staying in Washington, D.C. tonight and continues to meet with his advisors, as a reporter ahead of me said, talking with Emmanuel Macron, who has been in close contact with Putin on what's happening next. But really, the U.S. intelligence, as you said, is pointing to the signs that the Russian troops were given the order to go ahead with this invasion. So all eyes, both in the U.S. and in Europe and really across the world, are watching what happens next year.
And the other thing people are watching is regarding sanctions, right? UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson also talking about the sanctions. Do we have any more clarity, though, on what they would actually look like?
And with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson that you mentioned, he says that they're ready to push those sanctions against the Kremlin. But he even said himself and admitted that it just might not be enough to deter Putin. But the U.S. has also threatened severe sanctions. They detailed them in saying that they were going to be far-reaching financial sanctions and export controls, that they would target Russia's financial institutions and key industries, and also target those who are complicit in an invasion. The White House said on Friday that they are still putting together a final package, but they're calling it, quote, the most severe measure we've ever contemplated against Russia. Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying that the U.S. doesn't want to detail all of its plans publicly, as that will forewarn Russia. But he also said slapping Russia with these sanctions now would mean the loss of the deterrent effect. We've also heard that from the Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby as well today, saying that they don't want to issue these sanctions now. They want to do it once Vladimir Putin and if Vladimir Putin invades.
And finally, I wanted to ask you about Putin and Belarus, because it turns out the leader of Belarus was with Putin when he tested missiles yesterday. What role does Belarus play in this conflict?
It's interesting. You know, I think strategically, you see it on the northern side, northern border with Ukraine there. It's a strategic placement for the Russian president. It's been a springboard into northern Ukraine if they so choose to invade from that direction. We know they've been engaged in joint military drills, military exercises, which they both oversaw yesterday, and then decided today that they will continue those exercises. They were actually set to end as of this weekend, and they said this morning that those will continue. They will stay in place there, Ridway. And Russia is Belarus's largest and most important economic and political partner. And it's interesting because when the Kremlin invaded Ukraine 8 years ago in Crimea, the leader there refused to recognize Crimea as a Russian territory. But now he's willing to go to bat for Moscow. He's willing to go to war for Moscow should Russia be attacked. So you see them being a close partnership here. And really that strategic placement for Belarus in moving into Ukraine is a huge asset for Russia. And it's really an extension of Russia's Western military district.
And a potential staging ground. All right, Kelly Meyer, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.